What's up? This is Matthew coming at you guys with another video, and this video I'm going to be talking about colorism, how it affected the world in a bigger sense, how it affected my life and what I have seen from it and what I have experienced, and also this my whole perspective about colorism and how it affects different countries and different parts of the world. Alright, so colorism is basically when people in the same race group or same ethnic cultural group basically have different perspectives of people, and it's really based off their skin, whether it could be lower, not lower or higher, but whether it could be lighter skin or darker skin. And basically what it does is that it puts people on a social-economic status, or not even economic status, just a social status of who's better than what person, which person's better than the other person. Sometimes it could be that, well, most of the time when you hear about colorism, it's mostly about people who are lighter skinned that are basically considered to be better than other people, and people who are darker skinned to be worse than other people. And sometimes it's flipped in certain families or other different cultures. It may be the darkest person who's perceived to be better, whereas the lighter person may be seen worse because of whatever history has came up in that culture. So I have did a little bit of research about colorism, how it affected not just the United States, but also just the world in general. And so basically about this topic, what it really is that when the different people from the European countries came over to different countries around the world, and it doesn't matter if it was just Africa or the early Americas or the Southern Americas at that time. And basically, when they came and they basically conquered all these different lands, they put in their ideology of what they thought was better. And not only just in the systems and what they rule in those type of countries, but also what they feel like looks better, what they feel like a better person should be, how people run, how people basically think. So when you think about something like this, they basically took over the mindset of a person and how it basically controls people's judgments of other people and what they look like. And so what I could say is that I have basically did a lot of research, like I said beforehand, and that this is something that, even though it started a long time ago, it still goes on to this day. So my experience with colorism is that basically, and just a backstory on me, I am part African American, and also I got family from West Africa, the Ivory Coast, and basically I have different ethnic cultures inside my family, right alone as one parent than the other parent. And however, I mostly grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, so my culture isn't the most dominant in the region or the city that I live in. But as I could say, colorism has basically impacted my life in the sense of people didn't really understand my culture. People didn't really understand why I do things. Every time someone read my last name, they didn't really understand it, but that's from a cultural standpoint. From a coloristic standpoint, people either thought that I was something different than what I was, because they thought that because someone who has the same skin complexion as me should be a certain way than rather who I really am. And then another person thought I probably would be on a lower scale socially because of my skin complexion. And I have experienced both. I have also experienced people who thought higher of me because of my skin complexion, and they wanted us to know how it feels to be a certain way. All three of those different type of things have basically impacted my life, because really I have been in situations where people have tried to misjudge me, basically tried to prejudge me into being what they really wanted me to be in their eyes. It's not a good thing, but it happens. And so what I could say is that when I was just a little bit younger, and I'm pretty still young, but when I was back in high school, The funny thing is that I have seen that colorism also not only affects people outside of the other culture from their point of view, it can affect people inside the culture in that person's point of view. And what I mean is that I had people who were black who also didn't like me, who thought I was a downgrade because of my skin complexion and because I look a certain way. And that goes into other things also because of culture, but mostly complexion, because they think that a lot of Africans are basically the same skin complexion, if not darker than me, or they think that I'm supposed to be looking something totally different than myself because of what they think about Africa. And so people don't really know that there are many different shades in Africa. People don't really know that. People think that just because of what they see on the commercials or on the television ads, that is what all Africa is, and that's not true. But I have been, when I was younger, I have been into many different altercations where people tried to test me by basically trying to see if they could say something real slick just to get on my nerves, or people had, like I said before, people had a prejudice type of remarks or anything like that. Even people who are of my same skin complexion, who is of my same race, have also tried me because, or basically tried to test me because of what they felt about dark-skinned people. And these people have varied from different colors, from people who are light-skinned who thought that they were better than me because of my darker skin, or people who had the same skin complexion, but they felt just because of my cultural background that they're better than me because we're both dark-skinned, but because of my last name or because of he identifies with this, I'm better than him. And it's a sad type of mindset, it's a sad way of thinking, but it's real, and it really is a thing that happens in the world. However, the funny thing is, even back when I was in high school, and I used to joke about this, and I still joke about it now, I got more problems with people who look like me, other black people who didn't like me because I guess I looked like them, but there was also people from different backgrounds who gravitated to me and who liked the way that I was because of basically my culture and my ethnic background and my skin complexion. And I got more, basically more, not, I wouldn't say stare downs or more aggressive, I would say aggressive behavior from different people, especially when it came into relationships and basically the females and everything. It was mostly more females from different cultures who gravitated to me and who was more attracted to me than other black women or black girls at that time in my life. And I kind of figured that it was the colorism type of thing because of just the remarks and things that they said or things that I heard that they said and whatever. And so basically I just came to say, you know what, if that's just how it is, that's just how it is. And that kind of makes me think, because the funny thing is that I want to touch on this because this goes back to colorism, because this also goes into something that I have noticed, and a trend that I have noticed is that when people talk about colorism and when colorism always comes up, it mostly attains to black women and how they feel about each other. However, a lot of black men, or just men of color period, don't really get to talk about their experiences with colorism. So my point of view from basically the men's standpoint of colorism, the same thing is that a lot of the women are women of color, black women mostly, because I'm African American, so I know mostly about the black women and how they feel about colorism, but I can't speak for other peoples of color. But what I say is that basically what they go through is the same type of things that the men be going through. Alright, thank you for watching the video. I'll see you guys next time. I hope you guys have a good day.